Content disclaimer. The views, comments, and opinions expressed by guest speakers or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters and its sponsors. Parental guidance is advised. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teachers, scholarship, education, and research. For fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringed. On Saturday, September 23rd from 2 to 8 p.m. at the Alkaline Oasis in Brooklyn, Baba Ashra Kwesi and Mira Kwesi returns to Brooklyn, New York after 4 years. Get your early bird tickets right now by texting 347-496-1022. Remember, they'll be teaching about the ancient history of Africa, Kemet, and also they're going to touch on Cleopatra. So get your tickets, 347-496-1022. Hey, what's up, everybody? Everybody, clap your hands. Everybody, rise and shine. Everybody, protect your mind. There is no health without mental health, and that is the truth. Everybody, rise and shine. Everybody, clap your hands. Everybody, rise and shine. There is no health without mental health, and that is the truth. Top of the morning, family. How you doing today? How you doing? Brother King Simon, your brother from another mother and father. I'm not just going to say mother, from another mother and father, because none of us came through this realm without the duality, the balance, and people are trying to push that and create a whole nother narrative, and I'm not feeling that. If it's not balanced, it's not going to work. If the mind is not balanced, it's not going to work. The mind has to be balanced. Today's topic comes out of my book, Numerovation for Mental Stability, a numerational guide to recognizing mental instability and staying motivated. You can get it on Amazon, or you can get it through my link tree. That's linktree/King Simon the Numerator. Very important subject, because that quote actually came out of the World Health Organization. And thanks to Natasha Dezzoni, who wrote one of the forwards to this book called Numerovation for Mental Stability. And there is no health without mental health. There's no physical health without mental health. There's no spiritual health without mental health. There's no heart health. There's no organ health without mental health. Because even if you're going through something devastating in your life, traumatic in your life, if your mind doesn't mold with your heart and your spirit, your soul, whatever that is, because those are just words, and a lot of us don't even understand what those words, what it is. If it doesn't mold with that energetic spirit and that energetic soul, because everything is energy, all of it is frequency. And in my book, on the 45th page, in the fourth chapter or the fourth phase of my book, and I made sure I put it under the number 4. It's called Maintaining Mental Stability Through Numbers. And the first quote that I put on that page was, "A mind is a terrible thing to waste." That was coined by the late Dr. Arthur A. Fletcher from the Negroes College Fund, the United Negroes College Fund. He was born December 22nd, 1924, and transitioned in July 12th, 2005. Maintaining mental stability. And I want you to share this with people that might be going through it. This is a very good book to help on the journey of maintaining mental stability and staying motivated, because in every chapter, I'm giving some motivational guidance with the numbers that are connected directly to you. And I believe that's very important. I believe that is very important because a lot of people are losing their cotton picking mind. And you should get rid of your cotton picking mind. If you're a cotton picker and you still have cotton picking ways, then you should get rid of your cotton picking mind and unlearn to relearn, like many great ones have said in the past. Unlearn to relearn. So share this video. If your friends or family is going through it, if your children are going through it, take note. Take note what I'm about to say, because this is going to help young people if they are open minded and open heart. So a book like this is the starting phase of open mind surgery and open heart surgery. Let me say that again. A book like this, and the disclaimer is I'm not a mental health therapist, not at all. I got the disclaimer in the book, but I have seen through patterns, cycles, and sequences that numbers can pinpoint from a mathematical perspective what numbers you may be associated with through your birthday, through the year you're born, through the names that you're connected to, through the letters in your name. It can pinpoint us and pinpoint all of us to recognize what can be attracted to you from studying the cycles, sequences, and also the patterns, because many of us go through the patterns. Many of us, and every number has a health that's a health ailment that's associated with it if you do not take care of your mind and body, and also your spirit and soul. If you don't take care of those things. However, in my fourth phase, the phase 4 of my book, Maintaining Mental Stability Through Numbers, I say in the beginning chapter, love for self is one of the best ways to manage depression and mental instability. That's the first line in the chapter, that right under the phase, love for self is one of the best ways to manage depression and mental instability. Depression is a mood that can be managed. And in this phase of the book, we will look at the primary numbers that are usually connected to mental depression, mental instability, mental frustration, mental anxiety, and mental nervousness, which are the numbers 4, 7, 8, 5, and 3. Today happens to be a 21st of September. Happy birthday to a friend of mine at one point of my life and one of my phases of my life, Jamila Duncan. She's a massage therapist, and she's very good at what she does. If you ever want to get her services, she's right there on Tompkins Avenue at Khadidra's spot. I forgot the name of Khadidra's spot on Tompkins Avenue. It's right down the block from Make Manifest and right up the block from Yendez Apothecare. So that's on, that's where the black sisters are doing their thing on that street. All the businesses are ran by the sisters. So this book can help you if you're willing, if you're open, if your mind is open to it. I'm one of those people that cut through all the fluff in all my books. They're not long books. This book actually have 110 pages. Across 110th Street. Across 110th Street. Across 110 mental streets that you might have to go through. That's an old song for those who don't know. Across 100. I think Donnie Hathaway is the one that sang the score for that. Across 110th Street, if I'm not mistaken. My book is an iceberg breaker. And many out there are going through mental health problems. And some people don't even know it. Some people can't even recognize it. Some people don't realize where their mind is going sometimes and why they got to catch it. That's why exercising is a part of the catching. This is a very good tool to work out with. Very good tool to work out with. Exercising is a part of that. Sun gazing, sitting in the sun, grounding yourself, crystal therapy. And I have a lot of that in the back of my books. I talk about all of those different forms. And of course, there's many more. Yoga therapy, exercise therapy, sexual therapy, acupuncture therapy, Reiki, massage therapy, magnet therapy, breathing therapy, sound therapy, sun gazing, color therapy, aromatherapy, crystal therapy, birdstone therapy, all of it, and there's much more. All of it is a part of the armor of the God within, the creative force within, to help you maintain your mental health, because there is no health without mental health. And let me repeat that. That is a saying coined by the World Health Organization for years. There is no health without mental health. Please share this live. Please share this live. Because, and like I said, there are 5 primary numbers that attracts mental health. That's the number 4. So if you're born on the 4th, the 13th, the 22nd, or the 31st of the month. The number 7, if you're born on the 7th, the 16th, or the 25th of the month. The number 8, if you're born on the 8th, the 17th, or the 26th of the month. The number 5, if you're born on the 5th, the 14th, or the 23rd of the month. And the number 3, if you're born under the number 3, born under the number 3, the 12th, the 21st of the month, and the 30th of the month. And this is from what I've seen, not only in my own family, but what I've seen in celebrities, what I've seen in watching patterns of people taking their life and committing suicide or having thoughts of suicide. I see these numbers constantly, but the 2 primary numbers that I see constantly is definitely the 4 and the 7. Then the 8, 5, and 3 shows up. But 5 and 3 are usually numbers of jovial attitudes. And 5 and 3 can be connected to the signs that you're born under too, the zodiac signs, because Gemini and Virgo is connected to the number 5. Pisces and Sagittarius is connected to the number 3. Aquarius and Leo is connected to the number 4. And Cancer and sometimes Pisces on another level is connected to the number 7. And Capricorn is connected to the number 8. And in my book, I speak about The definition of the words mental, stability, instability, depression, frustration, nervousness, and health. I give you all definitions in my book also. I give you a brief definition of all of that in my book so you'll understand what they mean from a basic and simple perspective. Do they have more meanings? Of course they do. And after I go through those, I say by looking at the previous definitions, we can see that it will take serious work in order to overcome depression and maintain mental stability and a healthy state of mind. Many of us have developed mental issues due to family, friends, unwanted relationships, and from other external entities. They must all be clearly identified in order to heal and keep a balanced mental state. That's what I say in my book. I'm reading because these were uploads and downloads about mental health at that time. And yes, I've suffered from it and had to maintain it through various means. Whether, again, you had to get away from a relationship or get away from a situation or go to a park or go train martial arts or boxing, whatever it takes. Let me say it again, whatever it takes to find and bring balance to your mind. I introduce it in my book, Numerovation. And thanks for those that have already supported. I have so many supporters. And I remember one brother, and I don't even post testimonials. I really don't even do that. I'm not, it is what it is. I just want people to work on helping themselves to be mentally balanced. Like I got through all of that in my life from the time I was young, being treated a certain way because of my complexion. Then I looked at the cycle that I was in. And what year, how old I was, and I realized, wow, 8 was the primary number of that year. And I talk about it in my book also. I talk about it briefly in my book, but in my book called When the Late Bell Rang, or When the Late Bell Rang, my autobiography and essays of my life, that I will talk about. Which is so interesting. The first time I thought about hurting myself at 8 years of age, it was 1975. Oh, it was 1975. And not only is 8 one of the primary numbers for mental health, but 1975, if you add it all up, 1 plus 9 is 10, 10 plus 7 is 17, 5, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, adds up to a 22, which is a 4. So in 1975, the pattern, I didn't know nothing about numerology then. I was 8 years old when I thought about taking my life at 8, hurting myself at 8. In 1975, think about that. I know nothing about numerology back in those days. Nothing. I know about birthdays and happy birthdays. My birthday is my mom, my sister's birthday. We was reminding of those things, but I knew nothing about this cycle that I was in. And it was 1975 that I thought about doing this. And 1975 adds up to 22, and 2 plus 2 equals 4. And what did I say in the book? 4 is one of my primary numbers for mental health that you have to look out for. It's not coinky dink. It's all pattern. That's why I tell people numbers, numerology, the study of numbers in its multiplicity of application, and this is just one of them. Numbers is not psychic. It recognizes the path, the cycles, the sequences that we go through at different intervals of our life. Recognize those things. So in my book, I talk about each number very briefly, but very candidly and directly to the point. 1 all the way through 31. And I give you the positive and I give you the negative, or I give you the higher vibration, I give you the lower vibration, because if you don't learn to maintain your mindset, and remember, it's not about the one number itself. You have all of these numbers running through your chart, or running through your numeroscope, whether It's a year cycle, just like I showed you. I was in the year 22, which was emotional because two deals with the emotion, and then it adds up to four, which deals with the mental. So I have to, now I had to like, wow, I had to pull back and really look at it, realizing that it was in my family. My grandfather, great grandfather took his life. And I didn't know his birthday, but when I read the name, Claude, in one of the systems of numerology, adds up to a number 22, and 2 plus 2 is 4. And the man went through depression, very sensitive depression, and he decided to take his life. So it's real in the field of mental health. Let me say it again. It's real in the field of mental health. There is no mental health without, there is no health without mental health. That's why I got that topic today. Today is one of the 3 energy days. But when you add it all up, it adds up to 19, which is a 1. So this is a universal day that states that I need to be creative, or we need to be creative in getting out of the nervous or the anxiety of certain frequencies. I told a friend of mine that I was in town. She lives in the Bronx. I said if she wants to come and see me or we can meet up. I haven't seen her in a while, and I know she's going through some heavy stuff. But she says, this is what she says. Oh, I want to stay away from the trains because it gives me anxiety. Her life path is a number 3. Her alignment number is a 3. She's born under the sign of Capricorn, which is an 8. Yes, it would give you anxiety if you don't learn to check it. And the only way you're going to check anxiety, sometimes you got to go on that train. Here's a lesson. Sometimes you got to go on the train with common affirmations in your ear. Sit by yourself, sit somewhere by yourself, and sit with common affirmations in your ear that will help you calm things down. So it's very important that you learn to use various tools. Because if she's going through affirmations and she can't see me because she's going through affirmation, because she's going through anxiety, and she has a 3 life path, she has a 3 alignment number. When you add the month and day that she's born, it adds up to a 3. Then she's born under the sign of Capricorn, which is another 8. Another frustrating mental frustrated number of loneliness and all that kind of stuff. And then she's born under the number 2, which is emotional. That's what can be attracted to them. So I always say this. I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. I can talk much more on different levels of numbers. I tell people, I don't read you. People say, oh, I want to get a reading with you, King. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to get a reading with you, King. No, I don't read you. I don't read grown people. Maybe younger children might need readings because they don't know better yet. We're still guiding them. But adult people don't need a reading. They need to be advised. They need to be consulted. They need to maximize and activate and then maximize their numbers so they can be better and better and better at every level. Remember, these numbers come through your life every day, every moment, every time, every day, every month. Some of y'all are in monthly cycles that might be a mental health cycle. Some of y'all might be in yearly cycle. Some of y'all might be in daily cycle. Some of y'all might be in hourly cycle. How many of you can remember that sometimes during certain times of the day or at one time of your life or during the year, you all of a sudden your mind goes elsewhere and you have to catch your mind. Your mind goes back to that trigger or that depressive part of your life and you got to catch your mind. I go through that a lot every week to catch my mind. And how do I catch it? You got to stimulate the mind first with something positive in the morning as soon as you get up, whether it's stretching, whether it's yoga, whether it's Pilates, whether it's listening to a good lecture, a motivational lecture, whether it's reading a good book. Oh, yeah, this is a good book to read in the morning. I'll let you know that right now. This is a good book to read in the morning because it gives you the balance of the both energies of each number. pertaining to the human experience, especially the calendar dates from 1 all the way to 31. I give you that in my books. Very important. And so, again, please share this. I'm not going to be here long, but I am going to be strong. So, like I said, as I stated earlier, 4, 7, 8, 5, and 3 are usually connected to mental depression and frustration. And my grandmother went through mental health, and she was born on the 7th of July. And then when I read the year she was born, she has 7. The year she was born is 1906. May she rest in peace. So she's born July, which is a 7. She's born July 7th, which is a 7. Then she's born in 1906, which is a 7. So she had the jackpot number, of course. It was a jackpot number, but the jackpot number, if you don't learn to control the jackpot number, that usually can give you dopamine to, when you win that jackpot, you could also become a jackass. A mental jackass, because you don't understand the frequency of that number that you are pulling towards you, that's creating this nervousness or this anxiety. And then 7 plus 7 plus 7 equals 21, which is a 3. So she had the nervous number. My grandmother on my mother's side was erratic. I remember one time we come into visit her in Jamaica. I think it was in Kingston somewhere, and she just started screaming and jumped off and came and grabbed us and hugged us up. We hardly knew who this woman was, but she was kind of erratic. But according to family members, she had to check into a mental health facility. And she did some stuff that would be deemed mental health issues today, a mental health diagnosis today. She had babies and just dropped them off. Didn't want to take care of them. Had babies, just dropped them off with my grandfather. Had 3 beautiful girls. My mother, my aunt, my 2 aunts had babies, just dropped them off. So my mother and my aunts really did not get the love of a mother. It just was popped out. And then you ask yourself why they went through a little mental issues, and why they went through, and 2 of them are still going through it, but they hold things in. Don't hold it in. You got to release it. So on that note, family, I just wanted to touch on that and really say, protect your mind, protect your heart, protect your spirit, protect your soul. This is a spiritual warfare, energetic spiritual warfare out there. And they're coming after your children. They're coming after the women. They got the men a lot. Men are going through some real mental issues, but like Michael Bazin, who's born June the 26th, said back in the day, men cry and suffer in the dark. Men cry and suffer in the dark. Believe me, sometimes you don't even know your man is crying. Sometimes he's in the shower crying because of what he's been holding on to. And then he might come back to your house, come back to the apartment, or come back to the house y'all own. And then he's battling with his wife and then got to deal with the children. That's why some men will end up taking out the wife, the children, and himself. I almost did that. I know that. I know that feeling. And if I didn't have the message of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad through Minister Farrakhan at that time in my head, y'all would have heard about me in the news. I'm telling you. If I didn't have that message, and the messenger said back in the day, think 5 times before you did a thing. I had the knife in my hand to go take out all my family. Because in martial arts, I was very good at the knife wielding, the whole knife moves. I almost took out my family, and I'm being honest, and I've been honest like this before. It's in my book, but it's going to be more detailed in my autobiography because I know I got to release it. And I've already told my children, I apologized to them. I apologized to my ex-wife for even thinking that thought. But it was uncontrollable to a point that I had to leave the house and leave her. She was a number 3. You know what I'm saying? So 3s, people born under that 3rd, that 12th, 21st and that 30th of the month, y'all can be very irking. When things get on your nerve, you know how to get on other people's nerves. And if you don't learn how to control it and balance it, because they like to talk, you could talk yourself into a hurtful situation. I'm talking about men and women. That's why I always tell people that number 3 can be a number of recklessness, scattered, reckless mouth, reckless talking, reckless speaking. That's why you notice a lot of people that are connected to the 3 can go down some reckless roads. And I've said people's names before. It's best for them to speak articulate and with more intentional um, power, intentional solution orientated things than them speaking and trying to confront somebody and get into arguments with people. It happened with Dr. Umar Johnson. He's born on the 21st, which is a 3. It happened with young Pharaoh. He's born on the 30th. It has happened with Mike Tyson. Y'all have seen Mike Tyson in his past. He's born on the 30th. It has happened with people more so connected to that number 3 or born on the 3rd, the 12th, the 21st, or the 30th of the month. Reckless. And that can lead to getting themselves in trouble. And yes, my ex-wife was a little reckless with her mouth and her ways, and then she had a voice that was squeaky with it too, and it start nagging in your ear. I'm glad I got over that thought pattern, man, and I want my brothers and sisters out there to get over their mental thought patterns. That's why I wrote this love letter to people that may have recognized that they have the mental health and mental health is not negative, but you can go down the negative road or you can stay on the positive road. Gotta stay. That's why Bill Cosby had to do comedy. He had to let it off. That's why Bill Cosby was born on the 12th, which is a 3. Dick Gregory was born on the 12th, which is a 3. These people had to let things out or they would go crazy. Paul Mooney was born on the 4th. They had to let things out or they would go crazy. Can you imagine Paul Mooney not doing comedy? Think about that. Richard Pryor, born on this as a Sagittarius, born in the 12th month, which is a 3, but also a Sag, which is also connected to the number 3. If these guys didn't do comedy, when Richard Pryor was falling off of his comedy, that's when he burnt himself. People don't realize it. When Richard Pryor was falling off of his Richard Pryor mantle, because things change in time. Things change. That's when he burnt himself. And then look at the cycle of when he did it. One day I'm going to break down the cycle of when Richard Pryor did that to himself, smoking whatever he was smoking, and it lit himself on fire. That fire was an alert to his ass. Like, yo, you gonna burn your ass because you're doing some reckless stuff. Now he's born December the 1st, but his alignment number, not only his sign connected to the number 3. Remember, 12 plus 1 equals 13. That's a 4. So his alignment number is a 4. Mental health. So yes, he went through depression. Richard Pryor. But a lot of these guys and girls that go on that stage have to release. It's not just the love. Some of them love it, but it's more of a release. Tiffany Haddish would go crazy if she didn't have that release. She's born on December the 3rd. Oh man, I'm not new to this. And she says she went through depression. She has said she went through depression at certain times while she was homeless and all that kind of stuff. So the numbers don't lie, the numbers reveal. And sometimes they conceal certain things until you're ready for it to be revealed to you. Because some people ignore the signs. Some people ignore the cycles, the sequences, the patterns. Some people ignore it. I'm here to say, I don't want you to ignore it. I want you to acknowledge your shadow side or your quote unquote dark side and learn to bask in it, learn to accept it, and learn to turn its lessons into blessings. That's why I wrote this book in 2020, and 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 0 equals 4.
Affirmations can have an electrifying effect on all of us. Coming up soon is the affirmation of the numbers 1 through 9. Look out for it.
Did you ever wonder if your birth date holds information about your destiny? Why you keep seeing the same number or several numbers? Welcome to Numbers Are Simple, People Are Complicated. I am your host, King Simon. Numbers are not here to control you, they're here to give you guidance. It's time for you to be able to read the numbers. On Saturday, September 23rd from 2 to 8 p.m. at the Alkaline Oasis in Brooklyn, Baba Ashrakwesi and Mirakwesi returns to Brooklyn, New York after 4 years. Get your early bird tickets right now by texting 347-496-1022. Remember, they'll be teaching about the ancient history of Africa, Kemet, and also they're going to touch on Cleopatra. So get your tickets, 347-496-1022. Content disclaimer. The views, comments, and opinions expressed by guest speakers or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters and its sponsors. Parental guidance is advised. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teachers, scholarship, education, and research. For fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringed. Hey family, it's King Simon, the founder of Numerovation. Remember, if you want to book a session with me and get a Numerovation consultation, all you have to do is text me your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. And if you want any of my books, go to linktree/King Simon the Numerovator. That's King Simon the Numerovator. And your books are available on Amazon. Remember, I'm the El Numero Uno, the Numerovator himself. And if you want to book a session, all you have to do is text me. Make sure you get my books on Amazon. I love you. Peace. Hey, this is King Simon. Remember, make sure you go to my website, kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com. That's kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com or Linktree at King Simon the Numerovator. Get all 4 of my books, and of course, that's the Numerovation for Mental Stability. Numbers are simple, people are complicated. Numbers are simple, children's health is important, and no promotion is bad promotion. Just spell my name right. Make sure you get them now on all my links. That's kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com. Go now.
when in actuality, the so-called 85% has a spark in them that if it is sparked through numerology, astrology, motivation, whatever, it will raise them up from an 85%, maybe to a 10%, and eventually they become the 5%, the poor or prosperous righteous teachers. You gotta understand that this knowledge is not just for one class of people. We gotta get out of the classes.